Pöginti Sangulerim Sessinan Kensang Marcus Samlita, Tarin Pögaluni Donkata, Sumsogu, Penanga, Senishungata, Chilini Donchuni Daudumbe, Josum Sapasan Sangules and Gozushugi, Yendushukan Pamsri, Chino Konskem Gachumucho, Kasan Sejuni, Gaga Chancho, Kashmir Na Shapsor de Orkedo, Namtanto Shapsor Koga, Nadichi Lunche, Omar Abdullah Chota, Yugo Doncham Lunche, Zora Gawan Rinzicho, Namiki Pepsabke Shude, Shune Dunkan, Neru Nade Sudunkanto, Dele Shudo. Shune Donkanto, Sane Puri Kache Mimata, Lada Kuki, Pevacheki, Pepsabke Shudo, Sejupshin in Puri Kache Lopte Duntanto, Kalopta, Mirab Gente Namla Jagaso Zekuindo. Konshogi Chiluchikdong Gupka, Dunju Tangalor, Puri Kache Shija Ningba, Itka Shevena, Chipku Tongutenando, Tene Chiluchikdong Gupka, Geju Kapgilor, Shija Sawa, Hawal Sheba, Unjetata, Mimani Yula Sigorta, Kalopso Zebre, Talen Sane de Chipgur Kanten Subde Chagibre. Tempe meje kokyo ki legu la gyaga neyo mina mangbo gyabgyor nangdo. Tade char tempe meje gyaga lojo sakyo na kokyo nang shimbar. Yumiji yung ne gyabgyor chenpo top shimba maze. Gyagar ui chedo timkang ki timpen suwa tang ngade lunchen suwa. Tishin nyenda chen ki mina mangbo gyabgyor yang topdo. Daw tukbe tse jubshi nyin lo Afrike tuezo na chepsi chokwa cheka sumki pödön gyabgyor ki nimu sungzi shuyobre. Kapdidu tuezo timizo gela jeta re koine tueja tang pödön kogi tiwa tenwa so yang nangdo.
Today is the first day of the International Parliamentary Action in support of Tibet, which will culminate on June 20 on the Tibet International Parliamentary Support Day. We are proud that this process begins here in Cape Town today. The Chinese government has all but declared war on the peace-loving monks of Tibet. Armed only with prayer beads and holy scriptures, these monks face off against the daily wrath of heavily armed Chinese security forces. Monks are often brutally beaten and regularly detained without cause by Chinese security forces. The human rights abuses perpetrated by China are on a scale so large that it should shock the very conscience of all mankind. The Inkatha Freedom Party, however, is not as weak and meek as this current government, and we say an emphatic no to human rights abuses in Chinese-occupied Tibet. We say to China, stop this horror story, reclaim your humanity, leave Tibet, and leave it now.
South Africa ki Tezo Nanglia, Chinda Tupe, Teva Chupshin Yimutilia, Annie Perdon the David, Nedu Manguchito, Lanlon Chumbare, Lanlon Nangbaki, did the David Nedu Chadiore. The Teva Chupshin Yimangua, the Shite Tevena, Tanda D, Tezo Nangi. Geji Tezo ki Tungsem Yamjaki Nimo Yimbe, Vegetine, Sunzi Siadi, Chinda Jung, Chinda Guve, Chinda Tupe, Nishu Nayadi, Jiong to the K. David Nezure Dukte, Ina Fabrike ki Tezo, Kapi, Chinda Tupe, Chushi, Tamadin Tuzania, Kunzuya, Nanu Chajin, Chushi to Snambre. That team Nalia, Trezo Nalia, Toling tea, Nani Nalia, Sofa Kechi, Sumbi, Chasha Zoshi or the Dinalia, Chikti, Inca Freedom Party singing or the South Africa from the Naguki, Dana Shimbi, DS, Democratic Alliance, Chasing Sofa Chiore, Congress of People Chasing Sopasum Franzo, Gensha Zoshi, and the Franz Sopasum Giton to Cheore, the Indus and the Sopasu Tony, Pernang Tande Nanglia. As you carry Shabbat, Haba to young to Tade Patolia, and Ichika, Yemiki, and the Jana Shungi, Tiju La, Page, Dunde Market Bay, Tony Shagin, Manguchigi, and so to Constantin and Pelia. Ted Bedishu Goyatang, and the Premier Rawango with Nedun did so Shavatolia, and he can be Dana Shibaran, so Lodan Ginezu Manguchita, Siko Venezu Manguchi, did they shoot the Tigeti, Tolia, Tozonalia, Consulano Cheore, and Titolia, and Ichika, Kage, Tanda, South Africa, Shunjoni, Titolia, and Ichika, Jana Shungin Gutinambalia. and Pernal Yubiki, Pernangi Tandenetanlia, Yawata Tunan Chibu Yubichitan, Tinzoka Sobiki, Tanizo Manguchi Kandar, Pebeki, Perdan Pumigi Netun Devenizo Manguchi, Tolia, Toling Chuade, Kazam,
All political parties who are aligned to the principles of a people's democracy and fundamental human rights and freedoms should call on China to acknowledge and respect the cultural differences and freedom of opinion, assembly, and religion in Tibet and elsewhere in its territory. Like the people of South Africa, the Tibetan people have been fighting a decade-long struggle for freedom. However, the current wave of Chinese atrocities and human rights violations in Tibet, including arbitrary detentions and enforced disappearances, demand public pronouncements by all freedom-loving parties and parliamentarians. The deteriorating situation inside Tibet since the 2008 uprising has led to an alarming rate of self-immolations by 38 Tibetans since 31 May 2012. COPE is calling on our government to request the Chinese authorities to engage in good faith negotiations with the Central Tibetan administration to provide Tibet with political, cultural and religious autonomy, to respond positively to the memorandum on genuine autonomy for the Tibetan people presented in 2008, and to reject threats of abrogation of the nominal minority status for Tibetans provided for in the Chinese constitution, thereby removing the basis for negotiations of real and substantive autonomy. We further call on the government to include human rights protection as an agenda item in all bilateral and multilateral discussions, venues or engagements with China, so as to hold China to the same standard of human rights protection as any other country without lowering the measure of human rights protection expected of China.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Your time is up.
On account of its economic, financial and trade power. Thank you.
아니 차세 랑기 유비 김진 톤 제제니 디천다 수야 전달이야 아니 구리야 가 버게 제다 가브르 쉐지 대야도 도차브레 이내야 디무도 제다디 때스 방만단 제지니 미게지 계란 상매디 초토비어 말이디 이내 갈라 간삼치기 아주디네 탑시 제지니 표토버들이 중요하래
Dilio dao chiwe na Canada Tonker Ottawa geji tweso pödön gyabgyor sosin ting tukbe to dao tukbe tseni shuni zamlin kyonyong so pödön gyabgyor ki nimu sungzi shugyu tajwe naure. Lo Afrique tweso timinambe legyu nganu nangde dao tukbe tse jupshi ni nangdo teni chapsi sokwa sumge guzabne tweso so pimi domi topdang tang rangwala gyabgyor ki takdam kyangbe do.
상군 사다디 고난조 제가 jupshi nimuti 단다 저소나를 표준 레베네즈 톨이야 십제기 아니 버게 발라 담케나야 당 다나 신베기 마음벌이야 티도 돌린요야기 스타트 버게 렌주 슈브 디게디 칼 카르카리 슈바당 카르카리 충바 사보도 저소나리야 아니 챕스 속바 수든 수기 아니 차시 시요바 대단 레베네즈 톨이야 아니 지금 갑자기 수동 농전에 다나 신비기 아니 사르고 줄람 카기 미술이야 다간데 대전에 또 다라래
Churi lekune dharamsale tekchen chening zula khanto dao dunbe che dunyin damshung zongthodo miso duzom chese thomsi gangsewe gore dunto gyana shungge pimi do zinshinbe dugzub ki siju la keshuk chenbe shigwe dan chapjik ranglu merse ki tetong sukyo wa chewang doji la dungsim nyamge ki shungde nyangin chenbe na yubre lingen si shimde pyoki nyenti sangyu lesen re namche nga zo lerimsi watoche shamla namshik wanda ta menzi khange che sange ki lot siruna
Nyendri sekin la tsamdishu sanyi ne pyo gyalo nyedon gyado sumju sogu tang rabdun chudube namlo chudulu penda ngabe tse nishu tsadu redo daga chanye tang jinda dunbe tse chubshi resa pemba tang njungchu sami nyinbe tse jangye tenin chasa sho cheba ngenpa namni timlu chawa koyo chagyon cheba menjor cheba lasoyol cheba rabdu chungwa lakaan ten shingba shenyang kargi namgo yinbe kangba sabdu gyaba tang shingso cheba ngenbe tedun tungnang yoba shugyu tang shen 테니 추자기 세바 임베 주슈 체교 년바인 켈시 자자기 주슈 마지 까미이나 추자기 도주수 낭네 칠라 튼두 자자낭 추자베 도주셔나 추자티 도도기 양고 로다 지반이기 셰사임베 중년바시 연경 로다 랑로진 남기 라사임베 상고 요바탕 레든 셰버 상고 요바니 키소와 사변데바 유칼라 민독바 메도 키신 주바체라 상고유 표결로 니동자도 숨주 소구탕 rabjun chudunbe namlo chuduglu pendangabe tse ni shutsabdun redo daga minju tang jinda dunbe tse chonga resa nima tang njungchu meni yinbe tseja lek 대신 le cheba sangwa namni 총 cheba jindon cheba sabyon deba nolar cheba rabdu chungwa chu shuwa tasoy cheba michen jewa tang chakbu cheba chela sangwa yoba tang lakwa du loda dugnamgi lasa yinbe lamru chewa angsi wengyang teni sekzi keshin yobe 멤베 딱세 릴란 젬보 난게 체와인 대신 방면 남구 임베 창세 가든 릭만한 상와유 부지체